I think that sometimes we don't try something new because we're afraid we're not going to be real successful.
Hi everyone, Elle is here on our next episode and interview on our podcast with my beautiful friend out of Houston, Mary Ann. Hi Mary Ann, welcome.
Hi Elle, it's a pleasure to be here.
Great to have you. So before we jump into our conversation today, I want to introduce Mary Ann first. So Mary Ann showcases her talent and knowledge of the recruiting world in her current book, Revolutionary Recruiting, and the accompanying workbook, Revolutionary Reinvention. These books support individuals and corporations, teaching them how to tap into each candidate's unrealized potential to find the right person for each job, maximizing both employee satisfaction as well as the employer's bottom line. In 2020, she has refocused her skills as a consultant, available to assist both the applicant and the client to quickly adapt to the new work world. She utilizes her platform as a writer and speaker through her articles and affiliations to reach those in need of help, offering hands-on guidance to navigate this uncharted territory. Mary Ann offers virtual and in-person workshops to personally guide individuals through personalized self-discovery to find better suited career paths for success. Currently, she's reaching individuals through virtual avenues for universities and one-on-one mentoring for students soon to be out in the new work world. She continues to build her affiliations with recognized leadership organizations in order to best serve her clients and applicants by building a network of highly professional contacts throughout the world. Welcome, Mary Ann.
Well, welcome, Elle. It's just so great to be here, and I love Women of the World. I support so much what you do to help women become their best self, and I'm just great. I'm just so happy and greatly appreciative of being a member of this organization. Thank you.
Thank you so much, and I love you and I appreciate it for you too. Thank you. So let's start with the question that I usually like to ask right after I introduce our guest is really why do you do what you do and what makes you unique?
I do what I do because I know the worst case scenario of being in the wrong job. I had a person very close to me that was in the wrong job, and the stress of it eventually took his life. And so I know what the worst case scenario, as I said, can be to be in the wrong job. And because of that, I work even harder to help people not ever go through that severe stress of not utilizing your potential, not being in alignment with who you really are, not finding that success in the new work world. And I think, Elle, since post-COVID, things are much different now also. So I love what I do. I enjoy seeing people become their best self, and I'm really committed to my career.
Oh, yeah. And I love you to do what you do. And I remember when you spoke at our National Association of Women MBA, back when I did my MBA at St. Thomas, and sharing your passion, sharing your skills, and I know you help so many women in what you do, and men, same people, so many people, because I know you help men and women.
I do.
Yeah, so thank you. And that takes me to my next question is, what was the biggest lesson for you? And of course, there are so many lessons usually that come to mind, right? But what was your biggest lesson or something you had to overcome in life or in business as a multinational, as a woman of the world?
I think the biggest lesson I've had to learn is not to be afraid to fail. I think that sometimes we don't try something new because we're afraid we're not going to be real successful. And I think I've learned just the opposite. I think I've looked at people like J.K. Rowling, and who gave an address at Harvard, and it was a failure. And she went up and said, you people think, why are you here? We're at Harvard. We haven't failed that much if we've graduated from Harvard. J.K. Rowling, who is a very, very successful writer, failed many, many times. And it's through that failure that she gained the strength that she has, and now has castles all over the world. So I think the lesson for me was, don't be afraid to fail. If you're going to fail, you're going to learn something. And sometimes the lessons we learn from our failures are so much more powerful than what we learn from our successes, and also failure helps us become more humble. Failure helps us become more approachable. And I think those are all good things. Humility, being humble, having an understanding of others who are going through a hard time. I think those are qualities in this new work world, but in the world at large, that are beautiful qualities, not those to be feared.
I love that so much. I think we forget, even though we hear that, we know that, but I think we forget about that, the same thing when we're going through it ourselves, right? And I think it's such a great reminder. We hear that, and we you know, we know that, but when we are faced with failure ourselves, I think we forget about that, right? And we start doubting ourselves. I actually just had a conversation with someone about that. You know, it's so important to redefine failure, what that is, and how, and you know, yeah. So thank you for sharing that. So beautiful, and I completely agree, of course. And then I want to talk about our project that is coming up. And so, of course, Mary Ann is one of our wonderful, beautiful writers in the story. And this, our next multi-author bestseller, international best-selling book is, so the title of the book is Women, Money, and Energy of Life. And the reason we put we named it that way because of the beautiful stories that are shared, heart-centered, just authentic stories of women from different countries. And I think we have about 12 countries represented in the book, and including your story, Mary Ann. And I'm just so excited to bring this book to life this coming spring. And I'm excited about that. And this is the first women in money book that we wrote in our community. We've published in our community. So with your chapter in the book, without giving too many details to our listeners, what would you want people to take away when reading your chapter?
I think I would want people to take away that money is not necessarily a validation of our worth, but money can also show us that our efforts have been have made a contribution. I think money and self-worth sometimes has a sketchy definition, but I think that if we work hard at something, we have heartfelt determination to succeed at something, and then the rewards we get are in a monetary way. I think that doesn't make us better or worse, but it shows us that our efforts have been successful. And I don't think, somebody who makes zillions of dollars or lots and lots of money is necessarily better than somebody who hasn't. But the person that has worked hard and has achieved a level of success in a monetary way, I think shows that person and the world that person went the extra mile. That person was determined. That person really went through a lot of challenges to get to where they are. And I think that's a good thing.
I cannot wait to bring this book to the world and share your chapter as well. So thank you for sharing your thoughts, and thank you for deciding to participate in our book, Mary Ann. I know your story will be so valuable to many. Now, my next question is, I know you have been such a valued member at Women of the World Network. You mentioned a little bit about it at the beginning, and thank you for being our outstanding member and in the community, helping us expand, helping us meet other beautiful women out there. What does it mean for you to be a woman of the world?
For me, it means to be associated with other women that have goals that are not only goals to become their own best self, but goals to help others achieve and grow. And that's what I see Women of the World is doing. It's a community of women that want to share their talents, want to help others become their best self. And it's an organization that continues to grow, continues to have new programs, continues to attract members where I can learn from and expand my platform. At the same time, I can make a contribution to theirs. So being a member of Women of the World, to me, has been a really good experience because I have met so many people with so many different skill sets that I couldn't have met any other way. And even during COVID, we were so isolated, it kept that sense of community current. And, I just interviewed somebody on my podcast show, Career Can Do, that wrote, that took a trip to the blue zones. And the blue zones are places in the world where people live to be 100 or more. And he noticed, he found 3 common ingredients. And these are 6 or 7 places all over the world. But the one really number one that was most important was these people that lived to be 100 or more had a sense of community, of gathering together with others and sharing. That's what Women of the World gives us. Now, hopefully I'll live to be 100, and so we're all up members.
Yes.
Sense of community is what Women of the World offers. And I think now more than ever, post-COVID, we all need that, because I think COVID made us stop in our tracks and say, who do I want to be? What do I want to do with my life? And I think being a member of organizations like this help you define that even more. That's my feeling. That's why I'm with Women of the World, and I'll always be with Women of the World.
Thank you. Thank you for saying that. Thank you so much, Mary Ann. Thank you. And I love the blue zones and the community sense. Yeah, and I agree. I think it's a human nature, right? To really, for us to connect with each other and communicate with each other. And so during pandemic, we saw how it affected a lot of people being secluded and
also done, Elle, the people that spend too much time alone don't live as long as those that are in the community. So I think for us as women also, as things change so much, having an association, organization like this, where other women might be going through some of the same things you're going through, or maybe they've gone through things that you've not gone through yet. But by that interchange and exchange, you can help each other through it. Yeah. And something you just can't get by being on your own. And valuable, very, very valuable.
Thank you. Thank you for saying that. Thank you for sharing that. I want to move on to our next question is, what are your goals? We just, we are at the end of January, and as we start every year, we typically want to have plans, of course, and goals, and it's a fresh start. And so can you share with us, what are your goals for 2023?
I think my goals for 2023 are to have more work-life balance. And I think my goals are to do more in community, to do more with others. I'm a real hard worker. I'm a, I don't know if it was right. I work all the time. And I think that I like what I do. I love what I do. It doesn't really seem like a job because I enjoy it. But I think having more interaction with others, having more work-life balance, having more events where I go with other women that I relate to and do fun things with, which I will be doing in March. I think those are the kinds of things. I mean, I want to do seminars. I want to do more online, classes. I want to do more executive placements. But I think at the end of the day, if I had to give you one line, it would be to have more work-life balance and do more in community than I've done before.
Yeah, that's beautiful. I love that. And I cannot wait to see you in March. I'll be catching up. We'll do some fun things together. And and our event, in-person event in March, celebrating our first anniversary. So for those of you listeners who are able to make it, we'll be meeting in person in California on March 10th. So in Livermore, California. So it'll be awesome. I'm looking forward to that.
It would be great. We all really need that. Yeah. Reach out and touch.
Yes.
Zoom.
Yes, exactly. So I am moving to our final section of our podcast, is rapid fire questions. Are you ready?
I'm ready.
So your favorite book name is?
I think my favorite book name is The Secret Life of Bees.
Beach or mountains?
Mountains.
Favorite international destination to visit?
Malta.
Summer or winter?
Summer.
And the last one is things that you have discovered about yourself recently.
My sensitivity is my greatest strength, not my weakness, because I'm an artist and I feel. And through that sensitivity, I can share ideas and make analogies to things about nature, about things that before I was afraid to make the analogies with. So I think, I've hidden my sensitivity and tried to come across as this tough businesswoman sometimes, but at the end of the day, I'm not. I'm a holistic recruiter. I'm sensitive, and I think that's a blessing, not a curse.
That's beautiful. I love it. Thank you for playing. Thank you, Mary Ann, for sharing all of this. Please tell us how our listeners can connect with you.
They can connect with me on my website, faremouth.com, or they can always send me an email at faremouth@sbcglobal.net or mfaremouth@faremouth.com. And my website, also, I have a podcast, a nationally syndicated podcast called Career Can Do. Out of the 45 best career global podcasts, it's now number 12. So it's a lot of good response, but it comes out twice a week on all major podcast channels. So look for Career Can Do, and you can hear me and connect with me that way too.
Beautiful. So for all of our listeners who are building careers in the new work world, make sure you connect with Mary Ann. Beautiful person. She has so much expertise in the area, and I'm sure she's going to bring some value to you. Thank you so much, Mary Ann, for taking the time today to speak with us. And I look forward to seeing you in March.
Okay. Well, I have to tell you, I'm so blessed that I know you and that I met you so many years ago. And I feel so proud to be involved in anything that you do. So for the listeners out there too, if you're not a member of Women of the World, check into it, because you will be so happy that you were a member. You get so much out of it. I can't even describe it. Thank you, Elle.
Thank you. Bye. Thank you.